Let me ask you something. How often do you find yourself forcing things in life, chasing success, love, happiness, or even peace? We live in a world that glorifies hustle, making us believe that if we aren't pushing, striving, or grinding every second, we're falling behind. But what if I told you that the secret to getting everything you want is to stop chasing? What if the key to success, happiness, and abundance isn't in relentless pursuit, but in learning to allow things to come to you naturally? This isn't about being passive or waiting for life to hand you everything on a silver platter. It's about aligning yourself with the energy of flow, trusting that when you operate from a place of ease, what's meant for you will find you. Think about it. When you try to force relationships, they fall apart. When you desperately chase money, it seems to run further away. But when you let go, when you trust, when you focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts what you desire, everything starts to shift. The right opportunities, the right people, and the right moments begin to align effortlessly. So are you ready to stop forcing and start allowing? Because once you do, life will unfold in ways you never imagined. Think about the last time you desperately wanted something, whether it was a job, a relationship, or a specific goal. You probably felt anxious, overthought every step, and tried to control every outcome. But what happened? The more you clung to it, the more it seemed to slip away. That's because resistance creates blockages. The energy of desperation pushes things further from you, while the energy of ease allows them to come naturally. When you trust that what's meant for you will find you, you step into a state of flow. Flow is when you stop fighting against life and start moving with it. It's when you release attachment to a specific timeline or outcome and allow things to unfold organically. The ocean doesn't force the waves to crash. The wind doesn't push the leaves. It all happens naturally. Imagine what would change in your life if you started trusting this same universal law. Instead of chasing love, you become love. Instead of stressing over money, you cultivate the mindset of abundance. Instead of forcing success, you become the type of person success naturally gravitates toward. When you stop resisting and start flowing, life becomes easier, not because you stop putting in effort, but because your energy is directed in the right way. Let go of the need to control and watch how everything falls into place exactly as it should. One of the biggest lessons in life is learning how to let go. We hold on to expectations, timelines, and rigid ideas of how things should be. But the truth is, the tighter you grip, the more things slip through your fingers. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that what's meant for you will never miss you. It means understanding that your energy is better spent becoming rather than chasing. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop obsessing over something, it suddenly falls into place? When you stop looking for love, the right person appears. When you stop stressing over money, opportunities flow in. That's because when you let go, you shift from desperation to confidence, from fear to faith. The universe doesn't respond to force, it responds to flow. Letting go isn't passive, it's powerful. It's saying, I trust that what's for me will come, and I refuse to force what isn't. It's about surrendering the need for control and instead focusing on who you are becoming. Are you aligned with the energy of abundance, or are you clinging to scarcity? Are you living in trust, or are you operating from fear. When you let go, you free yourself. You stop carrying the weight of the unnecessary and make space for what truly belongs in your life. So ask yourself, what are you holding on to that you need to release? What's keeping you stuck? Because the moment you let go, you make room for something better to come in, effortlessly, naturally, and in perfect timing. Have you ever noticed that the most confident, successful, and fulfilled people aren't the ones who chase relentlessly, but the ones who move with certainty? They don't beg for opportunities, they attract them. They don't force relationships, they allow them to unfold. Their secret? They trust, not just in themselves, but in the timing of life. Trust is magnetic. When you trust that things will work out for you, you exude a different energy, one that draws in the right people, opportunities, and experiences effortlessly. But here's where most people go wrong. They want to trust, but they also want to control. They say they believe everything will come together, yet they panic when things don't happen immediately. True trust means surrendering the need to control every step. It's about understanding that even when things don't go as planned, they're still working in your favor. Imagine if you started operating from a place of trust instead of fear. Instead of worrying if you'll find love, you trust that love is already on its way. Instead of stressing over money, you believe that opportunities are aligning behind the scenes. Instead of forcing success, you trust that your consistent effort will naturally bring results. The moment you shift from doubt to trust, everything changes. You move differently. You speak with more confidence. You stop seeking validation because you know that what's meant for you is already making its way to you. Trust the process, trust yourself, and trust that the universe is always working behind the scenes to align things in your favor. When you do that, life starts unfolding in ways you never expected, effortlessly, beautifully, and exactly as it's meant to. Most people think they need to chase their dreams, but the truth is, dreams don't respond to chasing, they respond to alignment. Everything in life is energy, including your thoughts, emotions, and actions. If you constantly feel desperate for something, you're operating from a place of lack, and that energy repels what you desire. But when you become an energetic match for what you want, it naturally comes to you. Think about it. If you want love, are you embodying love, or are you chasing it out of loneliness? If you want wealth, are you living with an abundance mindset, or are you fixated on scarcity? If you want success, are you moving with confidence, or are you doubting yourself at every turn? The universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you are. If you vibrate at a frequency of confidence, trust, and abundance, that's what you'll attract. But if you operate from fear, doubt, and desperation, you'll keep finding yourself in situations that reinforce those emotions. That's why the most important thing you can do isn't to chase, but to become. Become the kind of person who attracts what they desire. Cultivate the habits, mindset, and energy of someone who already has it. Act as if it's already yours, and soon enough it will be. Because when you align your energy with your desires, they no longer feel out of reach. They start to feel inevitable. And that's when everything begins to flow to you effortlessly in ways you never expected. One of the biggest misconceptions about letting things come naturally is that it means doing nothing. But that's not true. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means finding the balance between effort and surrender. It means taking inspired action while also trusting that things will unfold in their own time. Think of a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't plant them and then dig them up every day to check if they're growing. He nurtures them, waters them, and trusts that in time they will sprout. The same goes for your goals and desires. You take action, you put in the work, but then you trust, you don't force, you don't panic, you allow. But here's where most people struggle. They either push too hard trying to force results, or they sit back and do nothing, expecting things to magically happen. Neither extreme works. The sweet spot is in inspired action, moving toward what you want with confidence, but without attachment. This means showing up consistently, doing your part, and then releasing the need to control every step. It's about understanding that what's meant for you won't require excessive force. It will flow to you when you are ready to receive it. So ask yourself, are you taking aligned action, or are you forcing outcomes out of fear? Are you trusting the timing, or are you impatiently doubting the process? The balance between effort and surrender is where true power lies. Master it, and you'll see how easily life begins to work in your favor. Most people don't realize this, but the moment you stop needing something, it often comes rushing toward you. Why? Because detachment is the key to receiving. When you desperately need an outcome, your energy becomes tense, anxious, and resistant. But when you release that need, you create space for it to flow effortlessly into your life. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop obsessing. It means you trust so deeply in the process that you no longer cling to specific results. You know that whether it happens exactly as you imagine or in a completely different way, it will still work out for your highest good. Think about it. When you hold sand too tightly in your hand, it slips through your fingers, but when you keep your palm open, it stays effortlessly. The same goes for opportunities, relationships, and success. When you chase after them desperately, they move further away. But when you embody the energy of trust and self-sufficiency, they are drawn to you. The moment you stop searching for love out of loneliness, the right person appears. The moment you stop obsessing over money and start moving with confidence, opportunities arise. The moment you stop fearing failure and start enjoying the process, success follows. Detachment isn't about losing ambition, it's about shifting your energy. It's about moving with certainty instead of desperation, confidence instead of fear. The irony of life is that the less you need something to happen, the faster it happens. So take a breath, release the attachment, and watch how everything starts aligning in your favor. One of the hardest lessons in life is patience. Trusting that everything will unfold at the right time, in the right way. But here's the truth. When you rush, you create resistance. When you force, you disrupt the natural flow. And when you demand instant results, you miss the beauty of the journey. Everything has its perfect timing, and just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Think about nature. The sun doesn't rise a second too early, and the seasons don't change overnight. A flower doesn't bloom by force. It unfolds naturally when the time is right. Your life works the same way. If something is taking time, it's because you're either still growing into the person who is ready for it, or the situation itself is still aligning behind the scenes. But the moment you let go of impatience, life starts flowing. Instead of thinking, why isn't it happening yet? Shift your mindset to, I trust it's on its way. When you believe in divine timing, you stop worrying about the when and start focusing on the who you are becoming in the process. Because here's what's powerful. When you're fully aligned, what once felt impossible starts arriving effortlessly. That relationship, that opportunity, that breakthrough, it was never far away. It was just waiting for you to be ready to receive it. So trust. Trust that delays are not denials. Trust that just because you don't see progress yet doesn't mean things aren't moving. The universe has a perfect clock, and when the time is right, everything will fall into place, naturally, effortlessly, and exactly as it was meant to. At the core of letting everything come to you naturally is trust. Trust in the process, trust in divine timing, but most importantly, trust in yourself. Too often we look for external validation, waiting for signs, approval, or reassurance before we move forward. But what if the only thing missing is your own belief that you are already enough? The truth is, the energy you radiate determines what you attract. If you doubt yourself, you'll attract situations that reinforce that doubt. If you move with confidence, you'll align with opportunities that reflect that certainty. The universe mirrors your internal state. So the real question is, do you trust yourself enough to let go and allow things to unfold? Trust isn't about knowing every step in advance. It's about believing that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. It's about understanding that setbacks aren't punishments, they're redirections. It's about knowing that just because you don't see the whole picture yet doesn't mean it's not coming together perfectly behind the scenes. The moment you stop questioning your worth, the world stops making you prove it. The moment you stop fearing failure, doors open effortlessly. The moment you move with certainty, life meets you at that level. You don't have to chase, force, or struggle. Just trust. Trust that you're on the right path, even if you can't see the destination yet. Trust that every delay, detour, and redirection is part of the plan. And most of all, trust that who you are becoming is exactly the person you need to be to receive everything you desire. Because when you trust yourself, life starts trusting you back. When you stop forcing and start allowing, life becomes lighter. Things no longer feel like a constant uphill battle. Instead, they flow with ease. This doesn't mean challenges won't arise. It means you'll handle them differently. You'll no longer see obstacles as signs to quit, but as opportunities to grow. You'll stop feeling the need to control every detail because you'll trust that things are already working in your favor. The truth is, life was never meant to be a constant struggle. The universe is always conspiring to bring you what aligns with your highest good, but it requires your cooperation. That cooperation isn't about effort, it's about energy. Are you moving with confidence, trust, and faith? Or are you stuck in doubt, fear, and control? When you embrace the effortless flow of life, you start to notice synchronicities. You meet the right people at the right time. Opportunities unfold naturally. The things you used to chase now seem to gravitate toward you. This is the magic of alignment. When you let go of resistance and step into a state of flow, everything falls into place exactly as it should. So here's your challenge. Release the need to control. Stop chasing. Stop doubting. Stop forcing. Instead, step into the energy of trust. Believe that what's meant for you is already finding its way to you. Move with confidence. Take inspired action. And most of all, allow. Because the moment you do, you'll realize that everything you've been seeking has been waiting for you all along. The life you desire isn't ahead of you, it's already here. You just have to let it in.